It up. Kanye,
Kanyeezy, Yay,
Yeezy,
Yeezy.
Yay. Kanye,
So
Kanye
so
got.
so before we start the topic, KR, a question: would you consider Kanye a genius, or would you consider him being out of his mind? Maybe just to give some
Well, well,
yeah,
a genius will always look out of his mind to regular people, right? Because he thinks outside of the box. Actually, there is no box.
there is no box.
There is no
That's a good
box for
that's a
them.
good point.
So they will always look crazy, like Albert Einstein, who is considered just genius after he passed, but back when he was um, coming up, people were thinking, "Who's this guy
Yeah,
with his afro, looking all crazy,
uh,
talking about
E
theories that
equals
people
MC
who,
square.
yeah, people who were sitting there like, what is he talking about?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What I do consider him a um I don't know if he's a genius. Well, his documentary is called Genius, right?
Yeah. A dope
Um,
documentary as well. The
yeah,
first
very
two
good one.
episodes. The third one was a bit watered down, um, but I believe that's because the I forgot his friend's name, but he had the most of his footage was before he became Kanye Kardashian.
Hmm.
So he had a very early raw, some early raw
No question.
footages, and that was pretty dope to see actually.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, continue.
so is Kanye a genius? I think he's definitely a musical genius. If you look at how he has how he has developed or moved hip hop forward in the sound, he was one of the first rappers who embraced auto tune, or along with T Pain, etc. And now it's standard.
Yeah.
His what's the Red cover album again? Um,
808s and Heartbreak.
no, no,
No,
no,
no,
the
My
Red
Beautiful Twisted
after that
Fantasy.
beautiful twisted dark fantasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
great album. You wouldn't if you
Yeah.
listen to it right now. It influenced the whole spectrum of. He opened the door for guys like Drake to have
Yeah.
that type of sound as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So he pushed the not only before his first two albums were groundbreaking as well with the way he sampled it, and then he tried to expand, go beyond the box. Like I said, there is no box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at how the even the latest albums he had were not as well received, but they totally sound like there is no box. He's not trying to make hip hop. He's trying to make music that has elements of hip hop, but not traditional hip hop. And I think that's one thing fans always a problem with fans is that they want the old, always the last thing. They don't give the artist the freedom to explore, and also try to find enjoyment in the new stuff. And you
Hmm.
don't you
Hmm.
don't want all. If you want to listen to the old stuff, cue the album to old album. Don't cue the new one. Don't
Yeah.
don't ask people to make the same stuff, because
Yeah. Yeah.
also, if you put it into perspective, um, if you're standing still, you're going backwards.
Hmm.
But so I think he's a musical genius. With clothing, I don't know much about clothing. His clothing, I think, is very.
Did you buy his Yeezys?
Did you say something?
Yeah, I said, did you buy his Yeezys?
I don't. I'm poor, man. I don't have no. No, I'm just kidding. His Yeezys are a bit out of here. It's a very different taste. Let's put
Yeah.
it this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I'm poor. Uh, no,
That's
but
gonna that's gonna be short.
let's be assured, I'm poor. No, but his clothing is very interesting. I don't know if I would buy it, Um, but he's well talking about me having not enough money to buy the expensive stuff. That's what he tried to reach as a goal with Gap, to
Mm-hmm,
also
mm-hmm.
develop or create stuff that's affordable for people like me.
Yeah, and
You
then
know,
and then he
so
got criticism because it looked like he put the clothes in trash bags. Did you see
hey,
that? Did you
yes,
see
yes,
that?
yes.
Yeah,
They criticized him about some of the jackets he created.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
hey, it is what it is. You will
yeah,
always find criticism in whatever you develop.
yeah. No,
But
but yeah, just want to give my thoughts on the music, and then
yeah,
we can
wanted
continue.
to ask wanted
But
to ask you about.
yeah, the music, I don't remember because you were more into underground hip hop, more into hip hop, I would say in general than I was, and you
Yeah,
introduced me to a lot of sounds.
yeah,
Um, and but I think that Kanye was the one who introduced me to soul beats in the mainstream because I think it did exist before, but he really embraced the soul beats. Of course, you can find samples throughout hip hop, so he's not the one who started sampling, but I do think that to me, he was the first producer that really, and I didn't know it was called soul beats, those type
mhm,
of beats, but he's the one who introduced me to it. And you know how uh, he would use especially in the first three albums, he would always have a he would always have a soulful, sometimes gospel sound. So he would
mhm,
mix the his topics, sometimes talking about very serious things, with a little gospel and a little soul, and that would always make the song stick. And
yeah,
that's you have to be very you have to be a genius, a good artist to do
yeah.
that and make it also mainstream. So
Okay,
much so that I was in the Netherlands studying, and people were loving Kanye West. They knew all of his songs. So, and then the transition into 808 and Heartbreaks, changing the sound completely.
yeah.
I was listening to that in the winter, during the winter. I must say, man, sometimes I felt depressed, but always I could always count on my good old friend Kanye to be there and tell me how I'm feeling, and then to switch. But then maybe it's a generation thing as well, that the sound keeps moving. But I'm from a different generation, so the sound keeps developing, but I stay, let's say, stuck in a certain generation and don't really
Mm,
I'm not really open to the new things. But to me, he's definitely a musical genius. I think they should stop asking him about politics though, because you might be a genius in one area, but that doesn't mean that you should be talking about other things. That's not him, that's everyone.
that's yeah. That is true. Everyone has to know their limitations. You might be limitless at certain parts, but indeed, you might be limited at others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, and yeah, I do remember the first day I heard Through the Wire. Till this day,
yeah.
it's yeah, it was crazy. I never heard that sound before.
That's a
Be-
that's a that's a very unique sound.
I had never heard because I used to listen to hip hop, but at that time when well, I used to. I didn't back in the days. I wasn't really a hip hop kid. I became a hip hop kid.
Yeah.
At that time, I wasn't really a hip hop guy. So
Right.
when I heard that song, I was like, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah.
But yeah, let's dive into the topic because otherwise we're gonna break down
Yeah.
what Kanye is or what Kanye is not.